Hi students, good morning everybody. So today we are going to discuss some reducing agents. A reducing agent means the substance which reduces the other substance and itself undergoes oxidation. So reducing agents means the substance which reduces the other substance and itself undergoes oxidation. So here are the some reducing agents. So the first one is lithium aluminum hydride. So this lithium aluminum hydride is a strong reducing agent. And the second one, sodium borohydride. So this sodium borohydride is somewhat weak reducing agent than this lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, and next one, H2 nickel. So here nickel acts as a catalyst. So the hydrogenation takes place in presence of this nickel catalyst. So that's why it is called catalytic hydrogenation. So this is catalytic hydrogenation. And next one, BH3 and tetrahydrofuran. BH3. So it is a monomer of diborane, that is B2H6. So B2H6. So this BH3 sometimes dimerizes to form diborane. So in order to prevent the dimerization, we should use a solvent tetrahydrofuran. And next one, sodium and ethyl alcohol. Sodium and ethyl alcohol. So this is one of the reducing agents. So this reducing agent, by using this reducing agent, the reduction is called Boulton-Blanc reduction. So okay, let us discuss these one by one. So the first one is lithium aluminum hydride. So this lithium aluminum hydride is a strong reducing agent. So that's why it can reduce maximum number of compounds, that means maximum number of functional groups. So here lithium aluminum hydride, it is a strong reducing agent. It is a strong reducing agent. So here this reduction takes place in presence of dry ether. In presence of dry ether. So because in case of polar protic solvents, it liberates some H plus ions. So here the lithium aluminum hydride is like this, Li plus, and aluminum AlH4, it is like this. So here it will become negative species. So suppose if you take any polar protic solvent, that means the polar protic solvent means it will donate H plus ions. So that is under moist condition. If the reaction should generally the reaction should takes place in presence of dry ether. If the reaction is supposed to occur in moist condition, that is in polar protic solvents. So those, suppose if you take in presence of water H2O, so this H2O can donate H plus ion. So this H plus ion can abstract this H minus ion. Okay, this is water. So this H plus ion can abstract this OH minus ion. So these two can combine to form H2. So by the release of H2, this is highly exothermic reaction. So this exothermic reaction is generally highly explosive reaction, because due to release of high amount of energy, it will be highly explosive reaction. That's why we have to maintain dry conditions. Okay, so by using this strong reducing agent, we should add the solvent as dry ether as solvent. Okay, we should not use any polar protic solvent. If we use a polar protic solvent, then the H plus ion from the protic solvent will react with H minus ion from the hydride ion to produce hydrogen gas. So this reaction will be highly exothermic reaction. So that's why explosion takes place. Okay, and now which of the functional groups will reduced by using this lithium aluminum hydride? So let us check. So here so many functional groups are there. These are aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids, esters, acid chlorides, acetic anhydride means acid anhydrides. So this is acid anhydride. So all these compounds will reduces in presence of lithium aluminum hydride. All these reduces in presence of lithium aluminum hydride under dry ether solvent to produce alcohols. So all these can be reduced in presence of lithium aluminum hydride. Okay. So here all these functional groups can be reduced to alcohols, and some more functional groups are there. So that is, if you take amides reduces to amines in presence of lithium aluminum hydride. Amides reduces to amines, and also dry ether. And cyanides, these cyanides also reduces in presence of lithium aluminum hydride to produce amines. Okay, so these lithium aluminum hydride can reduce most of the functional groups. So but here is one point you have to remember. So this lithium aluminum hydride cannot reduces alkenes. So if you take any alkene, so this alkene cannot be converted into alkanes in presence of lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, so but the alkene substitution which is attached to aromatic ring, so that is this one. So if the double bond is present in conjugation with the aromatic ring, then it can easily reduced by using lithium aluminum hydride. Okay, so it will reduce to form like this. So the generally alkenes does not reduce in presence of lithium aluminum hydride, but the double bond which is present adjacent to the benzene ring, that is aromatic ring, can be easily reduced by using this lithium aluminum hydride. So you have to remember these 2 points. Okay, so this is about lithium aluminum hydride. Now let us move on to the second compound, sodium borohydride. So this sodium borohydride is somewhat weak reducing agent when compared with lithium aluminum hydride. So that's why this reducing agent is limited to only few of the functional groups. So why it is weak reducing agent than lithium aluminum hydride? So suppose if you take sodium borohydride, so this is sodium borohydride NaBH4. So this sodium borohydride upon decomposition produces again Na plus and BH4. It is like this, BH4 minus. So here also it should provide hydride ion. So here the major difference between this aluminum hydride ion and borohydride ion is, here it is aluminum, here it is boron. So aluminum is large in size, whereas boron is small in size. So here due to large in size, it is most electropositive element. Aluminum is most electropositive element when compared with boron. So that's why, since it is a electropositive element, it has a tendency of donating H minus ion, that is hydride ion. So the tendency of donating H minus ion in between these two is more for this aluminum hydride ion. Okay, clear? So this aluminum has a large size, that means it is more electropositive when compared with boron. So that's why it has a tendency of donating H minus ion readily. So that's why it is a strong reducing agent and it is a weak reducing agent. Okay, clear? So due to most electropositive nature of aluminum, it has a tendency of donating H minus ion readily than boron. So now sodium borohydride. So what are the functional groups which can reduce it to alcohols by using sodium borohydride? Let us check. So second one is sodium borohydride NaBH4. So this is weak reducing agent, that's why it reduces only few compounds, that is aldehydes and ketones. So sometimes it reduces carboxylic acids also. So mostly it reduces aldehydes and ketones. So these will be reduced to form alcohols, RCH2OH and again RCH2 R and OH. So here aldehydes reduces to primary alcohols, whereas ketones reduces to secondary alcohols. Secondary alcohols. Okay, clear? So only aldehydes and ketones can be reduced by using this sodium borohydride. Here sodium borohydride. So here you can take some protic solvents also. Here generally we use some ethyl alcohol. Alcohol is used. You can take some protic solvent also, because this boron cannot easily donate H minus ion. So the reaction will be somewhat slow. So that means it is not an explosive reaction. So that's why you can use protic solvent also. Here the protic solvent generally we are using some alcohols. Sodium borohydride with alcohol. Okay. So here the sodium borohydride is a selective reducing agent. So selective reducing agent means it can selectively reduce some of the functional groups only. Okay. So here it can reduce only aldehydes and ketones. So here this cannot reduce esters. It cannot reduce esters or acid anhydrides or acid chlorides, acid anhydrides, acid chlorides likewise. So these functional groups cannot be reduced by using this sodium borohydride. So let us check with one example. If you go through with one example, you can easily understand this concept. So lithium aluminum hydride is a strong reducing agent. It can reduce all the functional groups, whereas sodium borohydride is a selective reducing agent. So if you take this one, here it is a cyclic ester. So this is called lactones. Here it is a keto group is there, lactones and keto group is there. So if you reduce with lithium aluminum hydride in presence of dry ether, we can produce this one. So here this ester can be reduced in presence of lithium aluminum hydride. So it forms CH2OH. It can be converted into alcohols. And here this keto group can also be reduced to form alcohols. So here it is alcohol, secondary alcohol, and this one also converted to alcohol. So the product is like this. Okay, by cleaving this CO bond, by cleaving this CO bond, here we can reduce it to alcohol. This also can reduce it to alcohol, and this keto group is converted into secondary alcohol. Suppose if you use sodium borohydride in presence of alcohol. Okay, so here we have to take polar protic solvent. Sorry, we should not take polar protic solvent. Here we should maintain dry ether condition. Okay, and next one. So here by using sodium borohydride is a selective reducing agent. It can reduce only keto group. So that's why here this keto group only reduces to alcohols. So this lactone cannot undergo reduction. So this is sodium borohydride is selective reducing agent. So that's why here it is called chemoselective agent. So here the sodium borohydride is called chemoselective agent. That means which can reduce only some selective functional groups. Okay, lithium aluminum hydride is a not chemoselective reducing agent, whereas sodium borohydride is a chemoselective reducing agent. Okay, clear? And next one. So let us move on to next functional group, that is third one, H2 in presence of nickel. So here this is a catalytic hydrogenation. So here nickel acts as catalyst. So this can reduce aldehydes, ketones as well as acid chlorides. So suppose if you take aldehydes, here this is aldehyde. So aldehydes reduces in presence of H2 in presence of nickel. Here nickel acts as a catalyst. So here catalyst means it is a catalytic surface. This is nickel. So on this catalytic surface, first the hydrogen gas will be adsorbed like this. This hydrogen gas will be adsorbed like this. So suppose hydrogen gas is there. So now this hydrogen should reduce this functional group, keto group or aldehyde group. So it will be reduced like this. So first the hydrogen will attack on this carbon. These two electrons will polarize like this, and the second H plus ion will attack on the oxygen. So that's why here we get CH2OH. So this is alcohols. So here it is a catalytic hydrogenation. So on the catalyst surface, first the hydrogen gas will be adsorbed. So that hydrogen gas will react with the functional group to produce alcohols. So this is about catalytic hydrogenation. So here it is, it consumes 2 hydrogen atoms. Okay. So by catalytic hydrogenation we can reduce aldehydes, ketones and also acid chlorides or COCl. So here the same mechanism arises in case of ketones also. Okay. So aldehydes, ketones and acid chlorides. So these 3 can reduce even at room temperature also. Okay. So these 3 can be reduced even at room temperature also. But the remaining functional groups like acids or COOH, esters or COOR and amides or CONH2. So generally these 3 can also reduce the in presence of H2 and nickel, but at room temperature, so these 3 cannot be reduced. So no reaction takes place here. So but this can be reduced under high pressure and high temperature. H2 in presence of nickel by taking high temperature and high pressure. By taking high temperature and high pressure we can reduce. So these compounds, that is acids converted into alcohols, CH2OH, and here also RCH2OH, esters converted into 2 alcohols, R-OH and RCH2OH, and these amides will convert it into RCH2 and NH2. Amides will convert it to amines. Okay. So these 3 can be converted into alcohols and amines in presence of H2 nickel at high temperature. So generally aldehydes, ketones and acid chlorides can reduce in presence of H2 and nickel even at room temperature. So but these 3 functional groups cannot be reduced at room temperature. So in order to reduce these functional groups we have to maintain high temperature and high pressure. Okay, clear? And next move on to next reagent, that is fourth one, BH3 and tetrahydrofuran. So BH3 means it is obtained from B2H6. This is diborane. So diborane produces 2 moieties of BH3. So here we have to add tetrahydrofuran, because so tetrahydrofuran means it is like this. So if double bonds are there, that is called furan. So here hydrogenation takes place, that is tetrahydrofuran. There is no double bonds. So here lone pair of electrons will be there. So these lone pair of electrons will donate it to BH3 like this. Boron has some empty orbitals due to electron deficient nature. So these 2 electrons can be donated to boron. So that's why here the dimerization of BH3 does not take place. In order to prevent the dimerization of BH3, so generally B2H6 is more stable than BH3. So generally BH3 always tries to dimerize itself. So that's why in order to prevent the dimerization of BH3, we should add the solvent tetrahydrofuran. So whenever this reaction takes place, it forms this one. This anion is formed. So this anion can easily donate H minus ion. So this hydride ion can be used for reduction process. Okay. So this hydride ion can be used for reduction process. So that's why the reduction is more easy. So here in this reagent we can reduce most of the functional groups like aldehydes, ketones, acids and esters also. Here these can reduce it to form alcohols. So here in presence of BH3 and tetrahydrofuran, so we can reduce aldehydes to produce primary alcohols. In case of ketones, we can produce secondary alcohols, primary alcohols, secondary alcohols. So in presence of this one, we can produce alcohols, that is primary alcohols, RCH2OH. So by esters, we can produce 2 different alcohols, RCH2OH and R-OH. So in this way, we can produce alcohols from these functional groups. And next one, fifth reagent, sodium and ethyl alcohol. So by using this reagent we can reduce aldehydes, ketones and esters only. So aldehydes, ketones and esters reduces in presence of sodium and ethyl alcohol to produce alcohols. So aldehydes produces primary alcohols, whereas ketones produces secondary alcohols, and whereas esters produces alcohols, two different alcohols like this. Okay, so this reaction generally takes place through free radical mechanism. Remember carefully, this reaction takes place through free radical mechanism. So here sodium produces one electron, since it is more electropositive element, it produces one electron, and ethyl alcohol produces H plus ion. So here it involves in free radical mechanism. Okay, so these are the most useful reducing agents which are used in our synthesis. So in the next video we will discuss about some oxidizing agents. So please comment me the answer for the question. So the today's question is, give any example of strong oxidizing agent. So we will discuss about some oxidizing agents in the next video. So please like the video, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and don't forget to comment me on comment box. Thank you.